Good afternoon, everyone. I extend a very warm welcome to all the participants in this MCA 21 V3 user awareness session on company forms SH-7 and PAS-3. I am Dwarkanath, Company Secretary, Central Council member of ICSI. At the outset, the Institute of Company Secretaries of India and as an extended arm of the Ministry of Corporate Affairs acknowledges its continued commitment to strengthening the governance framework and promoting ease of doing business and ensuring compliance with the legislations in their true letter and spirit. The Ministry of Corporate Affairs launched the MCA 21 V3 version portal in the year 2021, which enables secure and easy access to MCA services in an assisted manner for professionals, corporate entities, and other stakeholders. The MCA portal is designed to automate all processes related to the compliance and legal requirements under the Companies Act 2013 and the Limited Liability Partnership Act 2008. It will help a business community to fulfill their obligations. With this brief background on MCA 21 V3, we now extend our sincere appreciation to the Ministry of Corporate Affairs and the LTI team for their ongoing efforts in addressing stakeholders' concerns and organizing these awareness sessions. Their proactive approach ensures timely resolutions to challenges and facilitates a seamless filing experience. Coming back to today's session, which is specifically designed to assist stakeholders in navigating the filling process of Form SH-7 and PAS-3 on the MCA 21 V3 portal. The SH-7 relates to notice to the registrar for alteration of any share capital. Form PAS-3 relates to filing of a return of allotment with the registrar of companies, including a complete list of allottees within 30 days of allotment. Through this session, we aim to address common challenges faced by users in this filing these two forms and to provide valuable insights to ensure smooth and accurate compliance. Now, it is our privilege to have Shri Sidil Sasi, a Deputy Director General MCA, under whose able guidance and leadership the issues related to MCA 21 V3 are getting continually resolved. May I now request and invite Shri Sidil Sai for his address, please, to the members and participants.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to ISI for organizing this session. And this session will enhance the user awareness regarding the forms PAS-3 and SH-7. And I also appreciate all the presence of all the participants here today. And special thanks goes to LTI in resolving the issues and concerns of the stakeholders. And one request to all the stakeholders is that we are actively working towards resolution of the tickets within the set 48 hours. That is our target. And in some cases, we are not able to do that. And please have patience also, and please write to us. I request that please don't put on Twitter, because Twitter is read by people across the world. So please write to e-governance cell. We are having a email address also that we'll be sharing with ICSI. Please write to us, and we will be addressing your concerns. And this is maybe, I think this for PAS-3 and SH-7, this may not be the one session. We may have multiple sessions also, because I know there will be a lot of issues with the stakeholders would like to raise. So if it is required, we'll have a second session also on SH-7 and PAS-3. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sidil Sasi, for guiding our members on the background and initiatives of MCA 21 on V3. I also wish to add that from LTI team, we have Richa Gupta, Sheetal Randevi, Chandra Singh, Balram Thakur, Vijaya, Seema Malhotra, and Chandriya Dutta. I now welcome everyone to this vital webinar on the topic of company forms, SH-7 and PAS-3. And I encourage all the participants to raise their queries, which will be taken up either during the webinar or at the end. With this, I once again welcome the officers of MCA and LTI and hope to have enthusiastic learning. Thank you very much. I also wish to inform Sri Sidil Sai sir that we have compiled certain queries on SH-7 as well as on PAS-3, which will be addressed or maybe raised for your suitable reply, please.
Sir, shall we start the presentation?
Please do so, sir.
Okay, Vijaya, over to you.
Yeah, Richa. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope my screen is visible. Richa?
Yes, Vijaya.
So good afternoon, everyone. In today's webinar, we will be discussing key enhancements of e-forms, and mostly we will be talking about the forms which impacts my share capital, mostly on PAS-3 and SH-7. Apart from that, we will talk about few key points on SH-11, INC-28 and annual filing forms to the extent which is relating to capital updates. And also we will talk about the prefill and master data updates that are happening currently in PAS-3 and SH-7 forms. And we will talk about the FAQs. These FAQs are drafted based on the questions that we got it from ICSI, and also the tickets that we are getting or the CRFs that are getting raised. Based on that, we have framed a few FAQs with the resolutions so that it will help the stakeholders to understand. So is there any issue from system point of view, or was there any issue at the time of filing the form, how to resolve those issues? We will be talking about all these critical FAQs. And also we will touch upon few do's and don'ts while filing these forms. And at the end, we will cover question and answers. So to begin with, sorry. So to begin with, we will quickly talk about few key enhancements that are happened in the e-forms when we launched the V3 forms. These points we've already covered in earlier webinars. Just to recap, what are all the key changes that are happened when you compare it with V2 forms with V3? So this is not specific to SH-7 or any share capital form. This changes across all the forms. So the first change is basically introduction of web forms. As we all know that all the forms which are developed in V3 are web-based, whereas in V2 it was PDF format. So now then the second enhancement that we have done is linkage of the forms basis the purpose of filing an option selected. So one of the best example is EMOA and EAOA. These forms are getting attached to multiple forms, including SH-7. So wherever possible, we have introduced this linked filing concept, which was limited in V2 system. And also auto prefilling common fields across the forms. So if you are entering any of the MGT14 SRM, for example, we will be pre-populating the posting date and other details wherever possible. So the user is not required to enter the fields manually. So wherever we have a field which is available in the system, which we can do a prefill. So we are doing that. And also the form fields optimization. So by removing duplicate or redundant fields. So if you see V3 forms, there are so many changes that are happened. It could be a removal of a field, or it could be a renaming of the field. So we have optimized the forms to the extent possible. So you can see that change in the PAS-3, wherein it has undergone a huge change in terms of the way users are filling the forms in V3 when compared to V2. And also the attachment part. So we have minimized the attachments to the extent possible, because these attachments currently, whatever the attachments that are getting attached to forms, whether it is in V2 or V3, these are basically unstructured attachment, except the attachments that are coming in the form of Excel. So which means we will not be able to read the data from the attachments. To ensure that we will be using that attachment information also. So we have either we have actually digitized these attachments in the form of data fields within the form, or we have introduced, wherever possible, we have introduced the concept of Excel upload, so that we can read the data and we can use this data for data analytics purposes. And also addition of field level validation, thereby minimizing the errors at the time of filing. So you get to see a lot of field validations while filling the web form only, rather than getting these type of errors at the time of submission. So it will actually reduce the efforts of the users who are filling the forms. And also attachment size. Right now in V2 system, we all know that it was limited to 6 MB, which got increased to 10 MB in V3. And each attachment, we can attach it up to 2 MB, but there are some exceptions like PAS-3, wherein we have added attachment size up to 10 MB to attach the list of allottees. So these are all the a few key enhancements which are applicable to all types of e-forms which are launched in V3 system. So next we will get into the share capital forms. What are all the key points that we need to know about the share capital forms? So the first thing that we need to know is what all forms. Basically, we have majorly authorized capital, issued and subscribed and paid up. These are all 4 types of capitals that we maintain in the systems, of which authorized capital, we will be talking about authorized capital and paid up capital majorly in this session. So to begin with, what all forms updates or creates my authorized capital in the system? The first form is PAS plus Part B, which is nothing but your incorporation form, through which your initial authorized capital gets updated, wherein you will be entering your authorized capital details in the form, and we will be taking that information and we'll be creating a company master along with your authorized capital. And after that, if you want to make any changes to your authorized capital, so the form is SH-7, which is alteration of capital. So we will be filing SH-7, wherein we have multiple purposes. We will be talking about the key purposes also in the subsequent slides. And the third important form is INC-28. So whenever INC-28 is getting filed for amalgamation or merger purposes, and there is a field called field PLC in the form, wherein user will have to say that whether this amalgamation or merger NCLT order impacts your capital of the transferee company. If you say yes, then in that scenario also, company's authorized capital would get updated. So these are all the 3 forms which updates the authorized capital or which creates the authorized capital in the system. So now let us move on to paid up capital, which all forms updates my paid up capital. So to begin with, PAS plus Part B. So if you see the Part B form, we will be capturing subscribed capital of a company. So initially at the time of incorporation, whatever the subscribed capital value that is there in the PAS plus Part B, that gets updated as the paid up capital at the time of incorporation. And after that, any capital allotments, whether it is a non-cash allotment or cash allotment, equity preference, all types of allotment of securities happens through PAS-3, which is the form called written of allotment form. And SH-7. So whenever SH-7 is getting filed, so as I mentioned, we have different purposes. In one of the purposes, redemption of preference share capital. So whenever SH-7 is getting filed for redemption of preference shares, that time also your capital ideally get reduced. So which means SH-7 also updates your capital, paid up capital. And then SH-11, this is again buyback shares, wherein your capital, paid up capital would get reduced whenever you're filing this SH-11 form. And INC-28. So INC-28, we have one purpose called reduction of share capital under section 66(5). So whenever you are filing a form with this purpose, that time also your paid up capital would get reduced. So SH-7, 11 and INC-28, these 3 forms would ideally reduce your paid up capital, and PAS-3 will increase your paid up capital. And apart from these 5 forms, we also have paid up capital update logic basis your annual filing forms. Those are AOC 4, AOC 4 XBRL, MGT 7 and 7A. Here we have the concept of paid up capital event date, which we will be talking about in detail. So right now, please note that all these annual filing forms are still in V2 system. So we will be updating as of now, paid up capital is getting updated through these forms also. But once we go live with these forms in V3 system, so we will be restricting paid up capital update through AOC 4 forms, because AOC 4 form layout is not actually capturing the class wise information. We will explain what is the meaning of class wise and company wise. So because of that reason, because of the non-availability of the information in the layout, we will not be updating the paid up capital through AOC 4 forms once we go live in V3 system. However, the capital update would continue to happen through MGT 7 and 7A. So these are all the forms which updates your paid up capital. Now, let us see few key differences in share capital forms when compared with V2, and what was there in V2 and what is there currently in V3 system. So in PAS plus, so we've talked about all these forms, right? In PAS plus, SH-7, PAS-3 and SH-11, used to capture capital values with equity and preference types. So basically, if you look at any of the V2 form, whether it is PAS plus SH-7 or PAS-3 or SH-11, so capital used to get captured at a company level with a bifurcation of equity and preference. So only that level is what actually maintained. And when it comes to the database of the MCA system, so these values, authorized capital, issued capital, and subscribed capital and paid up capital are maintained in the system at a company level. Suppose if I have 2 lakh of capital, which is bifurcated into equity of 1 lakh and preference of 1 lakh. So in the system, we used to maintain my capital as 2 lakhs, which is basically the overall capital at company level. So this is in V2 system, we used to maintain a capital master of a company. And then point number 2, manual data entry in existing capital categories in the relevant forms. In V2 system, whenever you are filing SH-7 or PAS-3 or SH-11, there is a section called existing capital section, right? So because we are maintaining the capital values at the company level, user has to enter equity and preference bifurcation manually in the system, and there is no validation. Only the overall capital is what used to get checked. So this is what used to happen in V2 system, which means even existing capital with the bifurcation of equity preference used to be entered by the users manually. Because of this reason, so all the existing companies in V2, so we had around 15 lakh plus companies which got moved from V2 to V3, right? So all those companies got moved to V3 system without any class-wise master, because we don't have any concept called class-wise master in V2 system, because all capitals are maintained at a company level. And point number 4, authorized capital update for amalgamation or merger purposes, which we've seen in INC 28. So in V2 system, so there was no, whenever you're filling INC 28 in V2 system, there was no specific fields for existing authorized capital and revised authorized capital after merging your transfer companies or merger entities capital. There were no fields in the form layout. But what used to happen is once the form gets submitted, so it is mandatory for the stakeholder to attach the NCLT order in these cases, right? The back office, the ROC user, while processing this form, he used to open the order copy and he used to see the order and he used to punch in the values as part of the processing of that form. So which means we don't know what is the capital that is going to get updated unless the form gets approved and capital gets updated. So these are all the key points that we need to talk about in comparison with V2 to V3, what all actually happened in V3. So now let us begin with V3 points. The first thing is the concept of class-based master got introduced. So in V3 system, one of the major changes, the introduction of class-based master. So we will explain you what is this class-based master, company master with example. So class-based master got introduced. And authorized, issued, subscribed, and paid up capitals are maintained in the system at both company level and class level. So in V2, as I mentioned, only we used to maintain what is my total authorized capital, total issued, and total subscribed, and total paid up. But here in V3, we will maintain that. Plus, we will also maintain the class-wise bifurcation of this total authorized, issued, subscribed, and paid up. And existing capital gets prefilled from class-wise capital master. So because we are maintaining the information at class level, so whenever existing capital details needs to be prefilled either in field number 13.4 of SH-7 or field number 20 of PAS-3 for authorized, issued, subscribed, and paid up capital. So we will be prefilling this information from the class-wise master, which will reduce the efforts of the user, because it is a big table wherein user has to provide entire information of authorized, issued, subscribed, and paid up for each class. So existing capital would get prefilled from the system in V3 system. And also, so as I mentioned, so all V2 companies got migrated without any class because there was no concept of class-wise master in V2 system. So class-wise master for migrated companies, so I will come to point number 4 later. So class-wise master for migrated companies gets created based on first SH-7 or PAS-3 filing in V3 subject to certain conditions. So whenever you are coming, suppose if there is a company which got migrated from V2 to V3, for which class-wise master is not available. So whenever you are coming to V3 and filing your first SH-7 or first PAS-3 form, we will be creating your class-wise master subject to certain validations. So we will highlight what all validations that we do in subsequent slides. So which means all V2 companies, whenever you are filing any form in V3 for the first time, whether SH-7 or PAS-3, through which your capital master gets created, and thereon it continues as per the normal process. And for the new companies that gets incorporated in V3, so as we mentioned, through Spice Plus Part B itself, your class-wise master gets created for the new companies which are getting incorporated in B3. And also point number 6 talks about INC 28. So now whenever you're filing INC 28 for merger or amalgamation purposes, we have introduced the field number 13, wherein user will have to provide the capital details of all transferor companies and transferee company capital again with the existing capital structure and revised capital structure based on the NCLT, which means all the revised capital structure is the user input in V3 system. However, the PAS ROC user, while processing the form, he will cross-check with the NCLT order and then he approves it. Once he approves it, whatever is there in the form layout, whatever the values that you have mentioned in 13B of INC 28 as your revised authorized capital for each class, so that information would go and get updated in the system. These are all the few key changes when you compare these forms from V2 to V3. So now we've talked about in the previous slide, like company master, class-wise masters, to explain you with an example. So we've taken one example of, say, let us say there's a company called AAA Limited, which has authorized capital of 5 lakh, issued, subscribed and paid up capital of 4 lakh, for example. Suppose, as I mentioned, if it is a V2 system, so we used to maintain only this first table, which is nothing but the capital values at company level, wherein we used to maintain only what is my total authorized capital, issued, subscribed and paid up, which is here in my example, 5 lakh, 4 lakh, 4 lakh, 4 lakh. Now, in V3 system, apart from this, we have introduced the concept of class-wise master. The second table actually we have given, assuming that all the shares of that company are fully paid up. So how my capital can be bifurcated? This is just an example for understanding purposes. So let us assume that, let us take this authorized capital table. Now we have said 5 lakh is my authorized capital, right? So now this 5 lakh authorized capital we have bifurcated into, first thing is type. So each capital will have a type, which is nothing but either equity or preference. Now here equity is the type that we have taken. Class is the class name of that equity. Within that equity, I can have n number of classes, or within preference, I can have n number of classes. But in this example, the type is basically we have two types of capital. One is equity and preference. Out of this 5 lakh, equity portion is around 2 lakh. So which is bifurcated into 20,000 shares of 10 rupees each, which is nothing but your 2 lakh. And remaining 5 lakh, we have actually bifurcated into preference, again, into 3 different classes. These class names are basically, there is no predefined class names that user needs to provide. It is up to the state company who has to define the class names. But whereas the type is basically a drop-down wherein user will not be able to edit the type. So we have added 3 classes, CCPS1, CCPS2, CCPS3, and we have provided some number of classes and total amount here. And here, which is basically, you can see this 5 lakh, we have bifurcated into 2 lakhs of equity and CCPS, each 1 lakh of CCPS 1, 2, 3. So this is how your capital at the class level is maintained in the system. And same way, issued, subscribed and paid up, you can see, because there's a, if you see authorized capital is 5 lakh, which means we are yet to issue 1 lakh worth of shares, 1 lakh worth of capital, right? So that is why what we have done is for issued, subscribed and paid up, we have taken the same values. But CCPS 3 way, we have said all the shares are yet to be issued. So that is why you will not be having any issued, subscribed and paid up. So this is how in the system your class-wise master gets created or keep on getting updated. And all your prefills, whatever the prefills that are happening in SH-7 or PAS-3 or SH-11, INC 28, everything happens from this your class-wise master, not from the company level, because all these forms are notified with the concept of class-wise master in V3 system. So this is one example of fully paid up. This is how your class-wise master looks. Suppose if you have a partly paid up shares, so everything would remain same. Only the thing is in total amount, because even if you have a partly paid up shares, your number of shares would remain same. Face value per share would remain same. Only the total amount, you can edit it. Initially, it will get auto-calculated, but if you have partly paid up shares, you can reduce that value. So this is how actually we have captured in this slide to explain how your capital master, the class-wise master, looks like in the system. So now we will quickly go to the recent enhancements that we have done. in share capital forms. So we all know that as we have gone live in 2023 Jan with all these forms, and there were multiple issues, maybe in terms of the filing of the form or the way form data is getting filled. So we have made few changes in the system to make sure that we will not have the issues or incorrect filing of the information or class-based creations. We had many other issues in terms of this class-based master creation, especially with respect to migrated companies. So we have made few recent changes in the system, so which we will be talking about. So the first change that we have done is the class-wise master creation for migrated companies. So here we are talking about migrated companies. So class-wise master creation can only be done through SH-7 or PAS-3. So right now we have restricted class-wise master creation only through SH-7 or PAS-3. Whenever you're filing the form for the first time in V3, either SH-7 or PAS-3 through which your class-wise master gets created. And we have restricted this through INC28 and SH-11. Earlier, we used to create the class-wise master based on these two forms also, that is INC28 and SH-11. But there is there's one issue in those form layouts, because if you take INC28 for amalgamation or merger purposes, we are not taking the entire capital structure. We are only taking the authorized portion of the capital structure. Because of that reasons, even though I have some issued, subscribed and paid up capital, we were not able to create the class-wise master for these three categories: issued, subscribed and paid up. So hence we thought like we should not create any class-wise master through INC28 if you're coming for the first time in V3 system. Same is the case with SH-11. SH-11 is capturing only the paid up capital of the shares, how many number of shares that you're going to buy back, all those details, but the complete structure of the capital is not there the way we have it in PAS-3 or SH-7. So this is why. So for going forward, if you've not done any filing in V3 till now and you are a V2 migrated company, then your master, class-wise master can only be created through SH-7 or PAS-3. And second point is, if class-wise master is already available in the system, so maybe if it is a new company which got incorporated in V3, so obviously you will have a class-wise master already available, or a migrated company for which you have already done your filings in the system. So then also class-wise master is already available, right? Wherever class-wise master is created and is available in the system shall automatically prefill the existing capitals of field number 13 and field number 4 of SH-7. So wherever your class-wise master is already available, because field number 13 talks about your existing capital structure of a company, right? So the entire capital structure of the company of field number 13 would get prefilled and will be non-editable in SH-7 form. Because if you are filing for increase of your authorized capital, so there is no change that you need to do in field number 13, because field number 13 is talking about your existing capital structure. Whatever the changes that you are supposed to do, that ideally should be done in field number 14, which is nothing but your revised capital structure. So which means if your class-wise master is already available, then field number 13 and field number 4 of SH-7 will be prefilled and non-editable in SH-7 form. And if class-wise master is already available, this is also one of the key enhancement or the change that we have done. Wherever class-wise master is already available, the company will be able to add new classes only through SH-7. Very, very important. You will not be able to create any of the new class through PAS-3 or SH-7 or SH-11 or INC28. Going forward, any new class creation or existing class deletion would happen only through SH-7. And also PAS-3 form is enabled to enter value of paid up values for partly paid up shares. Earlier, there was some restriction wherein even though you have a partly paid up shares, system was calculating number of shares and per share value, and it is not allowing the user to enter the partly paid up share value, which we have modified now. So which means now user can go ahead and, even though it gets auto calculated initially, you can go and change your paid up capital value wherever you have partly paid up shares. And also the next point is simultaneous filing of PAS-3 and SH-7 is restricted. So this is also one of the key problems that we have seen, wherein users were trying to file PAS-3 without creating the class or without cancelling the existing classes. So to ensure that the filings happen, because everything is linked to your class, right? So which means whenever you want to go for a new allotment wherein which requires a new class creation, you cannot go and file PAS-3. Before that, you have to first increase your authorized capital for that particular class, and then only you can go and file the form. So we have restrict, which means if your SH-7 is pending for processing, so we will be restricting PAS-3 or vice versa. So you have to file the forms in a sequence. You have to ensure that whenever you are filing PAS-3, you have proper classes which got created, or you have sufficient authorized capital which is already available in the system. If not, you have to go and file SH-7 first. And also, we have added one informational message which will be displayed to the user, especially in PAS-3 form. If you are filing a PAS-3 form with an event date which is less than the event date that is available in the system already, then we will be throwing one message saying that you will not. So even though you are filing a form which is basically antedated, the capital updates of this particular form may not happen because the subsequent allotment basis updates are already happened in the system. So we will explain you with an example in the FAQ section. So in the enhancement point of view, you will get to see one informational message saying that if you are trying to file a form with antedated form, so you will not be able to see that capital update in the master, class-wise master and company master. Uniqueness check is placed in type, class name in all the relevant forms. So earlier, initially when we went live, so there were some forms wherein you can enter the same type or same class name, and which resulted in issues in class-wise master. Suppose if you take INC 28, there was no validation that I can enter class name as preference shares, and if I have two classes of preference, ideally I should give two different names, right? At least preference 1 or 2. But users were trying to give only preference share at both the places, and system used to consider only one of the row instead of taking two classes. So that has resulted in reduction of your authorized capital or whatever, or if it is because of if this issue is there in SH-11 reduction in paid up capital when compared to whatever is there in the form. So to ensure that we will not have these kind of problems in future, we have placed uniqueness check in type, which is nothing but whether it is equity or preference. Type will always now will come as a drop-down value. You will not be able to edit this type field, which was there in one of the form earlier. And in terms of class names also, each of the class names should be unique in nature. You will not be able to enter the same class name in the same section, say for example, field number 20 or 20 of PAS-3 or field number 14 of SH-7. So if any class to be deleted, so there may be a scenario wherein you want to go for cancellation of unissued shares, right? So in those cases, all this class deletion also can happen only through SH-7. There is no other form which can create your class or which can delete your class. So all capital values, but we will have so many validations before deleting your class. So we will make sure that all the values that are there in that particular class in field number 14 has 0 values. Only then we will go and delete your class. Otherwise, we will not be deleting your class from the system. And the next point is, even though it is not a recent enhancement, but we want to highlight here that even though your field number 13 for the migrated companies of V2, wherein you will be entering the values manually, in field number 13, that is existing capital structure, your entire fee calculation would happen based on the revised capital structure that you are going to provide in field number 14 of SH-7. And existing capital, it will not pick it from field number 13 because it is a manual entry, right? So for migrated companies, it will always go and check what is your existing capital in the company master table. So it basically calculates the fee on revised capital structure, which is provided in field number 14. And then it takes the existing authorized capital from the database and calculates the fee on both these amounts, and whatever is the differential amount that will be charged as the MCA fee and accordingly the stamp duty fee. And also only unissued shares can be cancelled through SH-7. We have seen multiple scenarios where users were cancelling, users were filing SH-7 for cancellation of unissued shares, even though you have some paid up shares. So that is restricted now in SH-7. So which means whenever you're going for cancellation of unissued shares, the shares that has to be unissued only. You will not, you cannot have any paid up portion whenever you are going for unissued share, cancellation of unissued shares. So these are all the key enhancements that are happened in the form because of these restrictions. So if the users have done some filings earlier, wherein you have created multiple classes or different class names were given, whatever it may be, the old the companies for which you've already done your filing and class-wise master is already created, you may be facing some challenges because of these many restrictions in the forms. But we will tell you how to come out of how to resolve those kind of issues if at all there are any issues while filing these forms, SH-7 and PAS-3. Okay. So now let us talk about before going to FAQs, we wanted to highlight few key points in terms of the pre-fills and master data updates, because whenever you're filing a form, you should know what is the purpose that you are filing and what is going to happen with respect to my master data updates, with whether it is company master update or capital, the class-wise master update, and what all things gets pre-filled in my system. So what we have done is we have taken key purposes of SH-7, PAS-3 and SH-11 and INC28, and we have provided one column whether class, because it depends whether class-wise master is already available or not. Yes or no, it is entire master update or pre-filling the information or entering the information, everything is dependent on your availability of class-wise master. So for each line item, we have explained whether class-wise master is already available, what actually happens. If the class-wise master is not available, what actually happens. So let us take the first scenario, wherein whenever SH-7 is getting filed for increase in share capital independently or increase in share capital through central government order, and class-wise master is already available. So what does this mean? Either your company is incorporated in V3 system, or your company got migrated from V2, but you've already done one filing in V3 system, either SH-7 or PAS-3 or whatever the forms which were allowing earlier, and class-wise master is already available in the system. So in those cases, so we have actually concentrated mostly on field number 13 and 14 of SH-7. These are all the two fields which are very critical for our capital updates, right? So if your class-wise master is already available and whenever you're filing for increase in share capital, field number 13 will come as a pre-fill and non-editable. So entire table field number 13, so which has your authorized, subscribed, issued, and paid up for portion, which is maintained, which gets pre-filled class-wise information, right? So everything gets pre-filled and non-editable. And field number 14, so type and class of the shares will be pre-filled. Suppose if you have field number 13, you have 5 classes, existing classes. All those 5 classes will come as a drop down, and type and class will come as a pre-fill value and non-editable, which means if you already have 5 classes and you are filing for increase, you will not be able to delete any class. You will not be able to delete any type. So all the existing 5 will get pre-populated based on the class-wise master and non-editable. These two are non-editable. If you have existing 5 classes, all those 5 will have to come in field number 14. And non-editable for existing classes. However, you can add new class. So because you are filing for increase in share capital, and if you want to add a class number 6, for example, you can go ahead and add a new class. But you will not be able to delete the class because you are not filing for cancellation here. You are only filing for increase. Either that increase can happen within your existing classes or you can create a new class. And only authorized, issued, subscribed capitals would get updated in the company master and class-wise master. Since your class-wise master is already available and now you are filing for increasing your authorized capital. So whenever you're filing the form, once this form gets approved, your authorized capital, issued and subscribed capital would get updated both at company master and also at the class-wise master. Please note that here, even though you are entering paid up capital values, though that will not be picked from SH-7. For that, you have to go and file PAS-3 basis that your paid up capital gets updated. Which means your capital class-wise master is already available, and whenever you're filing for increase, only your authorized, issued and subscribed capital gets updated in both company master and class-wise master. So I hope now we know what is the meaning of company master and class-wise master, right? Company master we will have overall capitals. Class-wise master is basically bifurcation of equity preference, and within equity and preference also we will have class-wise information. And if any class has 0 value in all the fields in field number 14, so we were talking about deletion of the classes. As part of this processing, and if you thought that earlier you had created some redundant classes or some dummy classes, and if you want to delete it, you have to make sure to enter 0 values in all these fields. Then only we will go and delete the value, provided that there is no paid up capital linked to that class. Because I cannot delete a class for which it is already paid up. Then you have to go for reduction of share capital through INC28, right? So only if there is no paid up capital linked to that class wherein you have provided zeros in all the values, then we will go and delete the class. So this is for the case where class-wise master is already available. Now, wherever class-wise master is not available, which means you are coming for the first time, you are a V2 incorporated company or prior to V2 incorporated company, and you're coming for the first time in V3, and you are trying to file SH-7 form for increase in share capital. Then field number 13, which is nothing but existing capital structure of a company, users have to enter it manually, because we will not be able to pre-fill this. Because we don't have any class-wise master in V2 system. However, we have placed a lot of checks now in the system. Suppose if your existing total authorized capital in my example is 5 lakh, right? If you try to enter 6 lakhs here, just to see what is going to happen, maybe I can reduce the fee calculation or something. So that will not happen. System will not allow you to enter a value which is higher or lesser than your existing authorized capital, which is already migrated from V2 system. So if you have an authorized capital maintained at company level as 5 lakh, you have to bifurcate that 5 lakh into different classes and different types, but you cannot give a more than whatever is available in the system, because field number 13 is talking about the existing capital structure. And now field number 14, type and class of the shares will be pre-filled from field number 13. So as we said, there is no class-based master. So whatever you've given in field number 13, that will come and get pre-filled in field number 14 for type and class. So type means equity or preference. Class is basically class name for each of the type. So shall be pre-filled from field number 13 and non-editable. Again here, because I should not have any difference between field number 13 and 14, right? So whatever you have given in field number 13, so this is also one of the issues that users were facing initially, because they had given different names in field number 13 and different names in field number 14, and that has led to a lot of complications and issues in the class-based master creation. So to ensure that there is no duplicate class name, so whatever you have given in field number 13, that will come and pre-populated in field number 14. And because you are filing for increase, you can add a new class if required. And here only authorized, issued, subscribed and subscribed capital would get updated in company master. So here we are talking about the scenario where class-based master is not available. So there is no change in the company master updates. Whenever you are filing a form, your authorized, issued and subscribed capital would get updated in company master. For example, your existing authorized capital is 5 lakh and you are filing for increase from 5 lakh to 6 lakh. So that 6 lakh will get updated in the company master. And now point number 5, very important. The class-based master gets created based on the information provided in field number 14 for authorized, issued, subscribed and paid up. So here, for the first time, we are creating the class-based master, right? So then we will go and create the class-based master based on the field number 14 of SH-7 for all the 4 categories. Because whenever I'm creating a class-based master, we have to create the class-based master for all four types of capital, which is authorized, issued, subscribed and paid up. So last point we've already discussed about the 0 values. So if you want to delete any class, you have to make sure to enter 0 values in all the fields of that particular class, provided it is not already paid up. So these are all the two scenarios whenever you are filing for increase in share capital where class-based master is available or not. And next we will talk about consolidation. Whenever you're filing a form SH-7 for consolidation or division, and you're selecting sub-purpose as consolidated or subdivided. So, and the class-wise master is already available. So point number 1 and 2 remain same, whatever we have seen in field point number above, that is field number 13 would get pre-filled and non-editable. Field number 14 my type and class of shares will be pre-filled. And point number 3, very, very important, new class is not allowed to be created. Here you are not filing for increase of share capital. You are just trying to consolidate in the form of consolidation or divisions, which means you will not have they should not be ideally, there should not be any effect on your existing classes, right? So you cannot create or delete any of the class. So new class is not allowed to be created and total capital cannot be changed. Very important, whenever you are filing a form for consolidation and your consolidation type in 7 you selecting as consolidation or subdivision, only your number of shares and per share value can be changed because your overall capital is not getting changed, right? Suppose earlier I had 10,000 shares of 10 rupees each. Now I want to subdivide into, say, for example, 20,000 of the shares into, say, for example, 5 rupees each, for example. So only in that case, your number of share and face value can only be changed. There will not be any effect on your overall authorized capital in the company master, which means as part 1, this form gets approved. If the form is getting filed with consolidation purpose and with sub purpose as consolidation or division, as such, the company master capital would not get changed because it is only the number of shares and face values getting changed, which means I will go on and update only your class-based master. That too, the field of number of shares and per share value. Only these 2 values would get updated if you're filing the form with this purpose. And class-wise master is not available. The class-wise master is available, sorry. And now let us talk about the next scenario wherein same purpose, everything is same, but my class-wise master is not available. So that is similar to whatever we have seen in increase in share capital. That is field number 13 where you will be entering values manually subject to all the validations that we have mentioned. And field number 14 is also same. Here also you will not be allowed to add any new class. Whatever is you've given in field number 13 has to come in field number 14, and you will not be allowed to add any new class. And total capital cannot be changed, obviously. So it is at the company master. So only number of shares and face value can be changed. But however, even though total capital is not getting changed here, and because you are coming for the first time in V3 system and you're filing this form, we will be creating your class-wise master based the field number 14 that is provided in the SH-7 form for all 4 capitals. It is similar to the increase purpose that we have seen earlier. So if the class-wise master is not available, then we will be creating your class-wise master based on field number 14 for authorized, issued, and subscribed and paid up. And we will quickly talk about the other one of the important purpose in SH-7, which is basically cancellation of unissued shares. This can be done in 2 ways. Whenever you're going for consolidation and you're just cancelling the unissued shares, but you're not planning to reissue these shares, then you can go and select the purpose as consolidation, and then you can go and select field number 7A as cancellation of unissued shares. And wherever class-wise master is available, it is similar to consolidation. Field number 13 will be prefill non-editable. 14 type and class will be prefill and non-editable. You will not be able to add any new class. Here, only authorized capital would get updated in the company master and class-wise master because you are cancelling unissued shares, which means it will have effect on your authorized capital, right? So your authorized capital ideally would get reduced in this case. So this next point is common point of the zero values point. And the same scenario, wherever class-wise master is not available, this point number 1 and 2 are same as whatever we have seen in the earlier purposes. And only authorized capital would get updated in the company master. So because whenever you're cancelling your unissued shares and you're selecting purpose as consolidation, only your authorized capital would get impacted. And here also we would be creating class-wise master. Wherever you see a no option here, you will see one standard point saying that we will be creating the class-wise master based on field number 14 for all 4 types of capitals, that is authorized, issued, subscribed, and paid up. Now the next purpose is redemption of preference shares. So if you are filing for redemption of preference shares and class-wise master is already available, field number 13 will be prefill and non-editable. 14 may also, you will not be able to edit anything. So non-editable for existing classes. Class-wise master and company master from field number 14 gets updated along with paid up capital event date. So which we will be talking about what is the concept of paid up capital event date. And whenever you are filing for redemption of preference shares and class-wise master is available, only issued, subscribed, and paid up capital shall get updated in both class-wise and company master. So authorized capital shall not get updated if you are filing for a redemption of preference shares. And if the class is not available, so it is same functionality. User will have to enter field number 13 manually, subject to certain validations. And at company master level, we will be updating only issued, subscribed, and paid up. But however, we will be creating the class-wise master for all the 4 types. And the last purpose in SH-7 is purpose number 6. Whenever you're filing for cancellation of unissued shares of one class and increase in shares of another class, and class-wise master is already available. Here only the difference is in the previous purpose, wherein cancellation of shares we said no, you cannot add a new class. But here the purpose itself says that you can cancel unissued shares of one class and you can increase shares of another class, which actually may require the user to create a new class, which is the reason why whenever you are filing purpose number 6 of SH-7, then you will be able to add a new class apart from existing classes that are available. And here only authorized, issued, subscribed capital will get updated in company master and class-wise master. So one thumb rule is whenever class-wise master is already available and you are filing a form SH-7, apart from redemption, your paid up capital will not get updated. If you are filing for redemption, your paid up capital will get updated. Okay, so the next scenario is capital master is non-available and master is not available. So then here it is the same functionality. Field number 13 you will be entering, 14 will be pre-filled and non-editable. You can add a new class. Here you will be creating class-wise master. And let us quickly run through PAS-3 and the remaining forms also what actually happens. So whenever you are filing PAS-3 and class-wise master is already available, then what actually happens is in field number 20, type class will be pre-filled from class-wise master and non-editable, which means if your class-wise master is already available in the system, you will not be able to add any new class in PAS-3 form. It gets pre-filled and non-editable. You will not be able to add any new class. And authorized capital shall get pre-filled and non-editable. Again, apart from pre-filling your class type and class, we will also pre-fill your authorized capital, because PAS-3 is only for return of allotment of securities, wherein only your issued subscriber and paid up can get updated, not the authorized capital, which means we will not allow you to change the authorized capital for whatever the class and type that is getting pre-filled from your class-wise master. And class-wise master and company master shall get updated based on the information given in field number 20. As I mentioned, PAS-3 only updates your issued subscriber and paid up capital, subject to the paid up capital event date. If the form is antedated, so if you are filing a form which has a lesser event date, we will not update your capital details. So, and point number 5, issued subscriber and paid up capital based on event shall not get updated. This is what we are talking about. One more point is, if your PAS-3 may, we have this type of allotment as equity preference and debentures, right? Whenever you are filing for debenture allotment alone through PAS-3, we will not be updating the paid up capital. All these 3 values will not get updated. So as such, there is no master update that happens whenever you are filing PAS-3 only for debenture allotment. This is for the case scenario where class-wise master is already available. If it is not available, then field number 20, obviously user have to enter manually, subject to certain validations, whatever the validations that we can do, that your authorized capital should be equivalent to your company master. All these validations we will do, and then user has to enter the values manually. Then class-wise master gets created on the information provided in field number 20. So which means you are a migrated company and you're coming for the first time in V3 system and you're filing PAS-3 for the first time. First filing that is happening is PAS-3, then you have to enter field number 20 manually, and basis that information, we will be creating your class-wise master. However, when in terms of the company master update, because authorized capital at overall company level is already available, so we will only update your issued, subscribed and paid up at company master. But in terms of class-wise creation, we will be creating classes for all 4 types of capitals. So this point we've already discussed, debenture allotment point. So these are all the key points that needs to be taken into consideration while filing the forms. And let us quickly check INC 28 and SH-11. So INC 28 form, whenever you are filing for amalgamation or merger purposes, there are multiple sections that are there in the drop down of INC 28 at field number 5. So here, wherever class-wise master is already available, then type and class in field number 13B shall get pre-filled from your class-wise master. It is very, very important, INC 28 and SH-11, because these 2 forms also actually contributed majority of the issues earlier. So INC 28, if you're filing for amalgamation purposes, field number 13 is nothing but your transferee company ka revised capital structure, existing capital structure and revised capital structure is where we will be providing in this field. So in field number 13, so whatever the classes that are available in the system, that will get pre-populated in field number 13 and shall be non-editable. And class-wise master and company master gets updated with the revised authorized capital values entered in field number 13B. So whatever in field number 13, if you see, we have a section for existing capital structure and revised capital structure. So if your class-wise master is already available, then whatever the revised capital structure for authorized capital that you are entering, only that amount will get updated in your class-wise master and also in the company master. But please note that here in field number 13B, only we are taking authorized capital section. There will not be any change in issued, subscriber and paid up. Only authorized capital would get updated at both company master and class-wise master. And now wherever class-wise master is not available, so if the class-wise master is not available, as I mentioned, we are not going to create any class here. Only we will be updating your company master. Even though you are providing your class-wise information with basis for the type, everything, but we will not be creating your class-wise master through INC 28 form, because it is not taking the information of issued, subscribed and paid up capital. So hence, if you are a migrated company which you are coming in V3 system for the first time and you are trying to file INC 28 as your first share capital form for amalgamation or merger, we will not create any class-wise master. Directly, we will go and update your overall authorized capital in company master. And same is the concept for reduction of share capital, that is section 66.5. So here, type and class in field number, wherever class-wise master is available, only then we will go and update your paid up capital, which is provided in field number 18, which is after after cancellation of the shares or after reduction, whatever is the remaining capital, paid up capital value, that gets updated in both company master and class-wise master. And if the class-wise master is not available here, so sorry, here it should be no. If the class-wise master is not available, the same thing. We will not be updating. We will not be creating any class-wise master. Rather, we will go and update only the paid up capital value in field, whatever is provided in field number 18 of INC 28. So SH-11, it is also the same concept. We will go and update your class-wise master only if share capital class is already available. Then only we will go and update your class-wise master along with your paid up capital value at company master. So what is the logic that we need to update? What are all fields that are provided here? So, and also wherever class-wise master is available, so your existing classes types and class names will come as a prefill. So you will not be able to add any class or any type in SH-11 directly wherever class-wise master is already available. So this is to make sure that users are not creating any new classes, and because if users are creating new classes directly in these forms, we will not be able to create the class-wise master, or there is a mismatch of the issues, the values and all. So that is why if the class-wise master is already available, you have to select out of those classes only which you want to buy back. So class-wise master and company master shall get updated based on field number 3 and 3B. So these are all the fields that we will be taking to update your paid up capital after buyback. So if the class-wise master is already not available for SH-7 also, then also we will not be creating anything. So these are all the few key prefill and master data updates that we want to highlight, so that whenever you're filing any of these forms in V3 systems, you have to make sure that this is what is going to happen once my form gets approved. So now we'll quickly go through few FAQs and do's and don'ts.
Can I ask the questions which I have received on the webinar, please?
So sir, can we quickly complete the FAQs and then we can take up the questions?
Yeah, fine. Please.
Okay.
So Vijaya, before you take the question and answers, I just wanted to add one or two points.
Yes, Seema. Yes, Seema. Let us complete the presentation and then we can add and then we can take up the questions.
So I just wanted to add out here is that whenever you are filling in the form SH-7 or PAS-3 or any other form, please provide the entire capital structure of yours, right? Not only the changes which you have done. Like if you have done the allotment for one particular class, that doesn't mean that you have to file the form only for that particular class. So whenever you're filing the SH-7 or PAS-3 for that matter, or for any other form, you are requested to provide the entire data which is there as per your class-wise master or as per your requirement. That whatever changes which you are going to do, whatever allotments, even if you are not making any changes or in any of the class of shares, then also you are requested to provide that first thing, which you have already clarified, but I just wanted to reinstate this point with you. Second point is, sir, we have seen people deleting their paid up capital through PAS-3, which is not the case. It is not an alternative, neither as per law nor not you should be doing it, because even if you do that through PAS-3, you'll be only be doing it subsequent to your giving that intimation on the SH-7. Unless until you do that, you will not be in a position to delete that entire class altogether. So that is a request that please don't file only PAS-3 when whatever changes in your capital that is authorized, issue, subscribed or paid up. Kindly follow the requirement as per the provisions of law, and also which is because the system has been developed keeping the law in that perspective and getting the input from MCA. So though the forms have been created by taking the requirement from them to clean up the data and having the data which is much more closer and cleaner for the back office user as well as for you for your subsequent filings also. I just want to add these points. Vijaya, please continue. I hope I have made my point clear. Right, Vijaya?
So sir, what we are trying to say is, suppose if you are filing SH-11 wherein you have 5 classes and you want to bought back one of the class part of the shares, but what we are trying to say is, even though it is buyback is happening is for one of the class of which only partial number of shares are getting bought back, you still have to provide your complete capital structure for the remaining 4 classes also. Even the values is remaining same, you still have to provide that amount. So this is what we are trying to say. So let us quickly see few FAQs which are drafted based on the tickets or CRFs and the questions that we've got it. So the first very important question is, what is this concept of paid up capital event date? So because we've seen this in the previous slides also, right? So we will not update your capital if the paid event date is less than the event date available in the system. So what is this capital event date? So paid up capital in MCA system gets updated only when the event date mentioned in the current form. Suppose if you are filing a PAS-3 form wherein the event date for PAS-3 is the date of allotment, if the event date mentioned in the form that you are filing is greater than or equal to the event date available in the system, only then your capital will get updated. So we will explain you with examples. So as we mentioned, the capital cannot get updated based on these forms, right? So for event date, for PAS-3, the event date is nothing but your date of allotment. For SH-7, it will be the date of redemption, because SH-7 say paid up capital can get reduced only for redemption of preference shares. So, and SH-11, date of completion of buyback is nothing but your event date. And INC 27, whenever you are 28, whenever you are filing for reduction, so your date of issue of certified copy of the order is nothing but your event date. And if your capital is getting updated through annual filing forms, the event date is nothing but your financial year end date. These are all the event dates that we consider, which means initially whenever your company is getting incorporated, your event date is nothing but your incorporation date. And after that, whatever the forms that you are going to file, so basis that information, we will keep on updating your paid up capital event date in the system against your company master and also at the class-wise master. For example, company has filed PAS-3 on 10th of May 2024 for allotment of shares with allotment date. So basically they have allotted some shares on with the allotment date of 1st of May, and the form is required to be filed within 30 days, right? So company went ahead and filed the form on 10th of May and the form got approved. And then as part of that approval process, we will go and suppose let us say I have updated the event date as 1st of May 2024. This is what I have in the system as the paid up capital event date. Now on 30th September 2024, the company filed AOC 4 or MGT 7. So but even though you are filing on 30th September, which is after 10th of May, but you are filing a form for a financial year end date, which is lesser than your 1st of May, right? So event date for annual filing forms is nothing but financial year end date. In my example, we have taken 31st March 2024, which means in this case, paid up capital shall not get updated based on the annual filing form, as existing event date available in the system is higher than the event date mentioned in the form. So AOC 4 May you are entering 31st March, but I already have the date of 1st of May in the system, which means nothing happened. Even you are filing a form of annual filing forms, no capital update, paid up capital update would be done in the system because of this event date concept. So, and the second example, because these 3 examples are very important to understand why the sequential filing is so critical, because we've seen many tickets, even yesterday also we've seen 1 or 2 issues wherein users were expecting us to update the capital, but the forms were not filed in a sequential manner. Suppose let us take the same example. We have filed PAS-3 on 10th May with the allotment date of 1st of May, but without giving effect of buyback. Actually, before this allotment only, there was a buyback which got completed on 1st of April. But while filing PAS-3, they have not taken that effect. They've just simply went ahead and filed PAS-3 for allotment of the shares without giving that buyback effect. So now on 1st of June, the company has filed SH-11 with event date as 1st of April 2024, because the buyback completion date was 1st of April. So obviously they have to file SH-11 and they have filed on 1st of June and they have given date as 1st of April. And they were expecting us to reduce the capital to the extent of the shares bought back. But in this case, system will not consider this update at all, because the paid up capital event date that got updated in the system was already having higher date. It is 1st of May, but buyback completion date is 1st of April. So obviously it will not update anything from SH-11 because existing event date available in the system is higher than the event date available in the form. And the third most frequently seen issue is basically due to redemption. So let us assume the same example. PAS-3 we have filed on 10th of May, but allotment happened on 1st of May. So this is what my date that is there in the system. But here also they have not given the effect of redemption of preference shares, which happened just before 1 day. So allotment happened on 1st of May. This redemption happened on 30th April, but they have not given this redemption of share capital effect while filing this form. Because of that reason, even if company comes and file SH-7 for redemption on 1st of June, because they are providing the event date of the redemption date as 30th April, that capital, your capital, paid up capital will never get reduced because I already have a higher date in the system. So to avoid all these issues, we would request all the stakeholders to make sure to file the forms in a sequential manner, or just give the effect of the previous changes that are happened for which filings are yet to be done. So it is very, very important to, so that your capital will get updated, because many a times we will get a ticket or CRF saying that I have already filed this form for redemption, but this is not getting updated. Then we have to analyze, literally we have to see each of your form and open these forms and compare the event dates, and then only we will get to know that there is some problem with the event dates. These forms were not filed in a sequential manner, or the forms were filed without giving effect of the previous events. So because of that reason, it is not updated. Then you will end up raising a CRF, which will take time for the updates and all. So to ensure that we will not have any of these kind of issues, so we would request all the stakeholders to file the forms in a sequential manner, or make sure that all the previous, whenever you're filing a form, or the previous events effect is already given in the form that you're filing. Next important FAQ. So I have created a new class or given different class names in subsequent PAS-3 or SH-11 or INC-28 after creation of class-wise master. So I will put it in a simple terms. So my class-wise master is already created in V3 system, and after that I filed either PAS-3, SH-11 or INC-28. While filing these forms, maybe I have given a different class name, so by mistake, or I will show you few examples also. So in those cases, what actually happens is, if the moment your class-wise master is created, as I mentioned, your authorized capital effect in the class-wise master can only happen through SH-7. So which means even though you won't create a class-wise master through, new class in PAS-3, SH-11 and INC-28, that authorized capital effect you will not get to see in the class-wise master. So, or you have created a new class through PAS-3, but authorized capital. So this is one of the frequent issue that we are getting. Whenever users are filing SH-7 and PAS-3, they are saying that my authorized capital is not getting prefilled. I am stuck. What should I do? So first of all, we have as we discussed in the previous slide, we have restricted new class creation in PAS-3 through subsequent filing, or class-wise master creation through SH-11 and INC-28. So which means you will not be able to create any class if your class-wise master is already available through PAS-3, and class-wise master creation is completely restricted in SH-11 and INC-28. So prospective filings you will not face this problem, but you have already done some filings in V3 wherein you have done any of these filings with a different class name or case sensitive, or with typo error, or directly you've added a new class. You will definitely face the issue of prefill whenever you're coming and filing SH-7 or PAS-3 now, because of the restrictions that we have placed, which we have seen in the previous slide. So now prospective filings will not have any of these problems. Now, what should I do with the existing cases? So existing cases, we would request you to raise the FO ticket with clear issue description and the revised capital structure. So many a times the issue description itself is not clearly mentioned. So we would request you to give the description of the issue clearly, and also provide us the revised capital structure which is expected to be updated, so that we can go and check why this issue has occurred. So if the issue is because of the different class names, because of typo issues, typo errors, or you have given a case sensitive class names, then we will try to correct it basis the FO ticket. But however, please note that all the issues may not be resolved through FO ticket, because if purposefully, you've created a new class altogether directly through PAS-3 without increasing your authorized capital, or without paying your MCA fee or stamp duty fee, or you've done multiple filings and multiple names were given, and you've not given all the classes, there may be so many issues. All right. So those cases what we will do is we will analyze your issue, and if we can resolve it through FO ticket, and because it is a small issue of case sensitive, or you've given a typo error, or you've not given a space in the class name when compared to the existing class, we will try to resolve it based on FO ticket. But please note that all the tickets may not be resolved all the issues may not be resolved just based on the FO ticket. So if required, we will communicate wherever CRF is required. So then users have to raise online CRF. Again, here also, whenever you're raising online CRFs, please mention the issue description clearly and the revised capital structure, and wherever you with all the relevant proofs. So, and if the filing itself is erroneous, this is also one of the frequent ticket that we are getting, saying that I have done some erroneous filings. How do I correct it? So if the filing is all done erroneously and user is accepting that there's some problem, maybe in terms of the values or the class names that are provided, or you created classes directly in PAS-3 without increasing your authorized capital, whatever may be the reasons. So then in that case, stakeholders are expected to approach jurisdictional ROCs to mark your SRN as defective. And also you may have to request the reversal of the master data updates that are happened. So without which we will not be able to correct your class-wise master. And also please note that master data reversal can only be done for defective SRNs based on the CRF, provided if there is no subsequent filing. Suppose you have done one filing where you have done some erroneous, some mistake or some which is of defective in nature. And after that also you've continued that defect, and marking this first SRN as defective would not solve your problem, right? All the subsequent forms also you have to ask for marking it as defective, which is basically a complex activity for the stakeholders also. So we would request all the stakeholders to make sure to file the forms in a sequential manner. And if you have issues, especially the past issues, whatever we have discussed, so we would request you to raise a FO ticket and provide the issue description clearly and provide the revised capital structure also, so that we will try to resolve your ticket. If not possible, then definitely we will communicate you to raise a online CRF form. So I just wanted to explain you for this in a detail with example, because this is one of the major issue that we are facing. So let us take the same example that we have seen earlier. So we had around 5 lakh authorized capital and issued, subscribed and paid up capital as 4 lakh. Okay, this is my class-wise master. Same example I have taken. Now say for example, user has filed PAS-3 for fresh allotment of CCPS-3. So because we have some unissued portion here, right? So he wants to go for allotment of these CCPS-3 shares. So which is fine. So for which he has to file PAS-3 because authorized capital is already available. There is no need to file SH-7, which is absolutely fine. Then he tried to file PAS-3 form for fresh allotment of CCPS, where, however, the problem is, and class-wise master is also already available with me, with the equity and 3 CCPS 1, 2, 3. Now what he has done while filing PAS-3 is, he has simply renamed these classes. Just he has mentioned everything as small letters. So it is basically what actually happened. So what might have happened in the system in this case is the system is treating this as if these are new classes. So what happens is your class-wise master is already available and you've given a different class names which are not consistent with whatever already there, and system is treating it as if you've added a new classes. Then due to this incorrect class names, you will end up having your class-wise master may look like this. So existing rows will remain same, and again 4 more rows got added in your class-wise master. And here the challenge, the important point here is, we will not go and update your authorized, issued and paid authorized capital here. Number of shares per share and total amount would remain as blank, because PAS-3 say I will not go and update your authorized capital, right? So only issued and subscribed and paid up is what is getting updated here. Now, because of this reason, whenever you're coming and filing SH-7 later on or PAS-3, obviously it will be a blocker for the user. So you will not be able to file the form. So now in this case, so here it is basically a purely a clerical mistake, just renaming the class names. As such, there is no major issue, but here, since you have changed the class names, which are not inconsistent with your existing class-wise master, it ended up creating 4 more classes in the system, which will obviously not happen in the prospective filings because of the restrictions that we have placed. We are talking about all the past issues. So now if this is what is the problem, so this is what is there in my class-wise master, how do I correct it? What we said is, we first go and raise a ticket saying that, see, we have done this filing PAS-3, but we have created we have given a different class names, and ideally my structure should be this. Only the CCPS shares me issued and subscribed and paid up should have been updated, but this is what the mistake, or this is what the issue. So what we would do in that case is, once we get the ticket, we will go and analyze and see if it is just merely a class name issue. If yes, then what we will do is, we will directly go and delete these 4 rows, last extra rows which got created. But before that, whatever the CCPS 3 ka issued, subscribed and paid up portion that is available, we will move it to this CCPS 3 class. so that your capital would get updated. Paid up capital will become 5 lakh and all the extra classes would get removed from the system and you will be able to file the form. So this is how we have been correcting your data. But please note that if some prefill issue that is happening in the system, it is because of your past filings. It could be because of the system issue or the awareness issue, or it could be whatever the typo errors that we have explained. Because system will not prefill the information which is not provided at all in the previously, right? So it's some issues happening because of the previous filings. So erroneous filing also we've talked about. I will just tell you what is the meaning of erroneous filing, how users might have done it. So I've taken the same example again here, because we have taken this example just to make sure, just to explain you that what actually is happening in the system. Now say here I have 1, 2, 3, and now user has filed PAS-3 for fresh allotment of CCPS 4 and 5. So actually what he has done is, I have equity and CCPS 1, 2, 3 here, but he tried to file PAS-3 form for fresh allotment of CCPS 4 and 5. Basically, which means he's trying to add a new class, which was allowed to certain point in time earlier. But here the problem is you have directly come and added these classes in PAS-3 form without increasing your authorized capital. So whenever you want to increase your allot any shares of a new class, the thumb rule is that you have to go and first file your SH-7, create your class and pay the fee for that increase in authorized share capital, right? But that was completely skipped, and user has directly went ahead and filed PAS-3 form and he has created CCPS 4 and 5. And what system will do now? System will simply create 4 and 5, it has picked. But obviously, authorized capital will not get updated because you've not paid the fee, you've not filed SH-7. So now again here also it's a blocker. So here in this case, correction may not be possible because user has not paid the fee of authorized capital increase. So here we will have no option except asking the user to mark this SRN as defective and file the forms in a sequential manner. That is first SH-7 and create the classes and then followed by PAS-3 for allotment.
So Vijay, just want to add point here over this, that maybe you are not increasing your authorized capital, but what you are doing is between your internal classes also you are bifurcating. For that matter also you are required to create a class through SH-7, not through PAS-3, because you cannot create a class if it is not you. So what you have to do is you have to choose the purpose as cancellation of one class and to create a new class, like addition of a new class. So that is what you have to do. So if you have already have the entire classes as paid up, you will not be able to cancel that class also. So the requirement is that in case you have got certain functionality, some certain authorized capital available in one of the classes and you want to convert it to another class, then you are required to go for the cancellation of that class if you have not issued any shares against that. Then you can come directly and you can file SH-7, and then only you will be able to should be going ahead and filing the PAS-3. So that is what Vijay is trying to explain.
Yeah. So these are all the two examples which we thought like we should demonstrate with examples so that it is easier for the stakeholders to understand. So next FAQ, I want to convert my debentures into shares. Which form to be filed? So whenever debentures are getting converted into equity shares, so the first thing that we need to check is my authorized capital available and the class is already available. Suppose if I want to convert my debentures into equity shares, say equity shares, then I have to first make sure that I have sufficient authorized capital in that type and class, right? If that is available, you can directly go and file PAS-3 for allotment of shares whenever debentures are getting converted into shares. Suppose if your authorized capital does not accommodate the proposed conversion, then what you have to do is you have to go and file SH-7 and increase your capital or create your class and then go for PAS-3 for allotment. So it is again one of the important questions. So I want to convert my convertible or partly convertible or optionally convertible preference shares into equity shares. What is the process? So this is also one of the frequently asked question or the ticket that we are getting. So the process that we wanted to explain here is from the system point of view to ensure your class wise master is updated properly and you will not have any future problems. You have to follow this process. So suppose first of all, if the shares only conversion can happen only if the shares are fully paid up. So if the shares are fully paid up and you want to go for conversion, So you have to go and file SH-7 for redemption of preference shares, and once it is approved, your issued, subscribed, and paid up capital will get nullified. So I will show you one example also for this, why we need to do this. Why can't I go and directly file PAS-3 for allotting the equity shares? So we will tell you what is the practical problem in the system. And then you have to file SH-7 for cancellation of unissued shares of one class and increase in number of shares in another class, because you want to convert your preference shares into equity shares, right? First of all, you have to cancel those preference portion and increase your equity portion. That you can do it only through purpose number 6. So once this form gets approved, so you will new class will get added and existing class will get removed or reduced to the extent of the shares that you want to go for conversion. Then only you can go and file PAS-3 for allotment. So these are all 3 steps that we have to make sure to whenever you are going for conversion of your preference shares into equity. So I will show you one example also for this purpose, and then let me finish the second point also. If the shares are not issued, so we have seen scenarios where users are filing PAS-3 directly without even converting. So basically, if the shares are not issued at all, then it is not, first of all, it is not termed as a conversion. You can go for conversion if the shares are fully paid up, right? So in that case, if you want to convert your equity into preference, then it will not be considered as a conversion. It is simply a cancellation of unissued shares of one class and increase in shares of another class. You can directly go on for SH-7 for this purpose, so that new class you can create and existing class will get reduced or deleted depending on your number of shares for which you want to go for cancellation. And then you can directly go for allotment of that new class, the converted class. So I will quickly show you one example of this conversion of fully paid up shares into preference shares into equity. Why we need to follow this process. So let us take the same example. Till here it is same. Now let us assume that I have CCPS2, which is a fully paid up, which is of 1 lakh rupees. I want to go for conversion of CCPS2 into equity shares. So as we mentioned, before going and filing PAS-3, first of all, you have to go and file SH-7 for redemption of shares, which makes issued, authorized, and paid up capital as 0. So first of all, first step is I have to make my issued, subscribed, and paid up as 0. For that purpose, I have to go for redemption. And then after this is how your capital gets updated. So CCPS2 will still be there, and with issued, subscribed, and paid up as null values. Because if you go and directly file PAS-3 in this case, there is no authorized capital for you to, because you want to increase the capital from 2 lakh to 3 lakh, right? Equity. But there is no sufficient authorized capital. So for that purpose, you have to follow this entire process. So after this, you have to go for.
And Vijaya,
Yeah.
and even though you have got the sufficient capital to accommodate your new allotment, the preference shares will remain into your system unless until you go and redeem that. So even if you have a provision of having the equity share capital, you have the quantum available and you can allot that or you can convert that. But you have to, for extinguishing the preference capital into the system, you have to come and redeem your shares. That is what you have to do. Please, Vijay, proceed.
Yeah. So after this, you have to go and file. So now once my issued, subscribed, and paid up is nullified for this CCPS2, and after that I have to go and file second SH-7, which is for purpose number 4, because obviously I want to move the CCPS2 portion to equity, right? Which is, so first of all, I can go for cancellation if it is unissued. So now I've made this shares as unissued because I filed for redemption, and then redemption I filed. And after that, I filed SH-7 for moving this 1 lakh of the capital from CCPS2 to equity. So once this form gets approved, this is how your capital structure looks like. So CCPS will be gone and everything in CCPS has become 0. So this class will get removed directly from the system. And equity portion, if you see, only here through this form, only authorized portion will get added. It has become 3 lakhs from 2 lakhs above. So after this, so obviously it is not yet over, right? Ultimately, you want to allot the shares, right? For which you want to file return of allotment. Obviously, you want to increase your paid up capital from 2 lakh to 3 lakh. For that purpose, you have to go and file PAS-3. After the PAS-3 is filed, then here, this is what is getting updated. In place of 2 lakh, it will get updated as 3 lakh, which means now here, your preference shares are completely converted into equity shares. So if you directly go on PAS-3, first of all, there is no capital available for you, even if it is available as system and as Seema has highlighted. We have to somehow reduce the CCPS from the system. That will not happen through PAS-3. So let me go back. We have a few more questions. We'll quickly run through. So next question. So I have filed SH-7 for cancellation of unissued shares, but the same is still appearing in subsequent filings. What should I do? This is again the past issue. So whenever you've cancelled your earlier shares, somehow maybe you may get to see that class or shares in the system whenever you're filing subsequent filing forms. First of all, prospective filings, we are making sure that your class gets deleted if you're providing all the class values, all the particular row, if you are entering all zeros, then we will be deleting that class completely. So this issue will not be there in for prospective filings, but if you have any existing issue wherein you have filed earlier for cancellation of unissued shares, either through consolidation purpose or through purpose number 6, and if you think that some extra row is getting displayed on prefill of your subsequent forms, then you please raise a ticket, F4 ticket with all the details. We will try to delete your class or reduce the number of shares. And if it is not possible, due to whatever the reasons that I have highlighted, then we will be communicating you to raise a online CRF. So next very important question. My authorized capital is not updated or incorrect values updated after approval as SH-7. So what users are saying is they are saying that they have filed SH-7 for increase in share capital or whatever may be the purpose or cancellation of the unissued shares or something, but they are saying that my capital is not updated or it is updated incorrectly. So logically speaking, authorized capital gets updated based on field number 14 as we discussed. However, users may have issues. Again, these are past issues. User might have issues because either you've done some typo errors or case sensitive issues in class names. We have seen examples also wherein you've given some different classes in PAS-3 because of that reason your authorized capital might have not got updated. Or field number 13 may you have given different class, field number 14 may have given different class, then it might have got multiplied with double the amount. So all these cases might be there. Or incorrect or duplicate class names were provided. So we've talked about the duplicate class name, same preferential they've given. So system has picked only one line item. So obviously it will show a lesser authorized capital. Or missing class names in revised capital structure. So Seema has mentioned that you have to make sure that whenever you're filing field number 14, 20 or SH-11 or INC 28, it is mandatory for you to provide all the classes that are available, even the changes happening on a particular class. Suppose if whenever you're filing for field number 14, you thought you were only filing for increase of equity shares, you've missed to provide preference share information. Then also it might have not got updated. Or user has uploaded incorrect version of PDF with lesser authorized capital values. Suppose user has filed a form to increase your capital from say 1 lakh to 10 lakhs. He has filed a form and he's generated a PDF. So earlier there was some issue with the PDF version. So then what he did is, then he edited the form and he changed the value from 1 lakh to 1 lakh. Then he has generated the second PDF, but while filing the form, he's uploaded the first PDF. So in those cases also, because already my system will have latest form filing information, which is 1 lakh. He's increased it to 10 lakh initially, but later on he came and changed it back to 1 lakh. So system has considered as if it is not changed. So obviously system might have accordingly charged the lesser fee, only the normal filing fee of 400, 500 might have charged. But now users are coming and saying that, see, I have filed it for 1 lakh to 10 lakh increase, but you have not updated my capital. Because the update has not happened because the fee is not paid properly or the version was not uploaded properly. So that may be the reason. So these are all one of the few reasons that we are trying to highlight. And then user has, so as I mentioned, user has not paid the relevant MCO fee or stamp duty fee. He's expecting us to update the capital as 10 lakh in my example, but there is no proof of payment for MCO fee and stamp duty fee for differential amount of 9 lakh authorized capital increase. That may be the problem. So again, here also, whenever again all these issues are past issues. If you have any such issues, you have to raise a RFO ticket with all the clear description. Please do mention the SRN details and what actually happened and with the revised capital structure. So we will try to correct your data basis the ticket and the information provided. If it is not possible, then you may have to raise the online CRF with all the relevant details. Next, one of the again, all these FAQs are actually critical only. So we are getting few tickets saying that I filed PAS-3 for debenture allotment. But since in the previous form, I forgot to give effect of one of the paid up capital allotment. So now I have given that effect in the paid up capital section while filing PAS-3 for debenture allotment. but they are saying my capital is not updated. So please note that whenever you're filing PAS-3 only for debenture allotment, your capital, even though you have changed your capital in field number 20, it will not be picked by the system. Now, no updates would happen if the PAS-3 is getting filed only for debenture allotment. So the next question is, I have created class names for fully paid up and partly paid up as system was not allowing to enter less paid up capital values. This is again the past issue, because earlier it was not allowing the user to change the paid up capital value, especially where you have partly paid up shares. So because of that reason, so stakeholder might have ended up creating two different classes, one as equity fully paid up, equity partly paid up. So now, because now this issue is resolved, now they want to merge, because obviously it is not required to create a new class if you because of the reason that you have a partly paid up shares, right? Then in that case, we still we have a process wherein you have to. So first of all, now they will not have this problem, because PAS-3 and SH-7 is enabled to enter partly paid up shares. Initially, it gets auto calculated, and if you want to enter reduce the value, you can go and reduce the value. There is no restriction now. And to resolve the current issues, again, you have to raise a FO ticket with mentioning all the reasons why, what is the reason for creating that partly paid up shares, and what should be your capital structure, so that we'll try to update it. If not possible, we will communicate it through FO ticket to raise online CRF. So can I file PAS-3 with multiple event dates? Event dates, as we mentioned in PAS-3, it is allotment dates. Yes, if your PAS-3 can be filed with multiple event dates, provided all your event dates are within 30 days period. If you're filing the form for other than private placement allotment, if it is for private placement allotment, you have to file the form within 15 days. If you have multiple event dates which are falling within that 30-day period or 15-day period bracket, you can go and file for multiple allotments. Reason is basically if you have allotment date which are falling beyond 30 days, we have to charge additional fee, and additional fee is dependent on your number of days delay. So that delay is depending on each allotment, right? So that is why we will not allow you to file the form with multiple event dates which are going beyond 30 days. Now it is again one of the important questions. INC 28 is filed for amalgamation or merger in V2, but authorized capital is not updated. So as we discussed, so in V2 layout of INC 28, we were not having the fields of revised authorized capital, wherein back office user has to input the values while processing the form, right? So this is what we have mentioned. Revised capital details were not getting captured in the layout, and the same used to get updated by ROC user while processing the form. So the capital might have not updated because user might have forgot to update give the inputs, or the values are not properly, or NCLT order is not clearly mentions the capital structure. So there could be multiple reasons. So whatever may be the reason, if your capital is not updated even after filing INC 28 form, which was filed in V2, then you have to. So there is no concept of FO ticket here. Please note that you have to directly raise a CRF with the issue description, and please make sure to attach the copy of NCLT order. And if possible, just take out that extract of revised capital structure from NCLT order and provide it is in the form of attachment, so that we can go ahead and update your authorized capital of the transferee company. And again, so INC 28 is filed for demerger, but authorized capital is not updated or charges are not moved to demerged entity. So please note that for now, whenever you're filing a form INC 28 for demerger, whoever is filed the forms already, they will know that we are not enabling any of the capital section details, because each demerger is different, and maybe demerger may end up creating a new entity, or it is getting merged with other entity in one of the department. There may be multiple permutations and combinations. So right now, even in V2 and even in V3 right now also, if the demerger is happening, so all the capital and charges movement have to be done through CRF only, because we are not having any of the specific fields in the layout to update these details automatically basis the filing done. So after approval of the form, you please raise an online CRF with all the updates that you're expecting, because all the cases the charges may not be required to move, right? All the capital may not be required to be updated. So it depends on case to case demerger. So you have to raise a CRF in this case. Now let us quickly see a few questions on annual filing forms, because forms are still in V2. And I think this is also one of the issue that you might have faced as part of your current year peak filing process. So I have filed AOC for XBRL Ind AS, and the total paid up capital is showing only equity portion. How do I update my preference portion? So as we all know that AOC for XBRL Ind AS taxonomy does not have the specific XML field to capture the preference capital. And because of that reason, so even though you're filing AOC for XBRL Ind AS, it is picking only the equity portion of the capital, because as such in the taxonomy only XML field is missing for preference shares. So because of that reason, so only equity portion is getting picked and it is getting updated in the system. So, but however, if you're filing MGT7 after AOC for XBRL approval, your capital will get automatically updated basis MGT7, because it is, we have this concept of event equal to or greater than. Even 31st March is already there, but we still, if you go and file MGT7 with proper value of equity and preference, system will automatically pick up that value and it will get updated. Please note that it may take little time to sync the data. So if you have any, you filed MGT7, but even then your capital is not updated, then you please raise one FO ticket mentioning the MGT7 or 7A SRN reference, and mentioning that you filed MGT7 after AOC for XBRL approval, even then your paid up capital is not updated properly for preference portion. So, however, in case MGT7 is filed before AOC for XBRL, or for it, so this may, the capital might have not updated the preference portion. Suppose your MGT7 is filed first, but after that you filed AOC for XBRL, or you filed AOC for XBRL, but this same got approved after MGT7 approval, because this is conditional STP form. In those cases also, preference portion might have not got updated. So again here, we would request you to please raise the FO ticket, so that we can check your class-wise master, and if you've already done your subsequent filing through PAS-3, we will check and update the values of value of preference portion. And if not possible, then we will let you know to raise online CRF. But in this case, most probably we will update through FO ticket only, because we have MGT7 or 7A filing with us. Now again, AOC4 and AOC4 XBRL forms filed with rounded off values, and the same got updated in company master. But however, while filing the subsequent forms in V3, system is throwing an error saying that capital mismatch. This is also one of the frequent issue that we have seen recently. So before going into the solution part, so we would request all the stakeholders to make sure to file the forms with absolute values while filing AOC4 and AOC4 XBRL, and we have displayed these informational messages. If you open, the moment you open AOC4, first line item will be there as like, you please provide the values in absolute terms. And AOC4 XBR also, we are populating one informational message asking you to provide the absolute values to avoid these mismatches. So again, here the same logic. If you've already filed MGT7, post-approval of AOC4, and you've provided actual absolute values in MGT7, that will be corrected automatically. If even in MGT7 also you have rounded off the values, then you have to raise a FO ticket. So if the rounded off values, the difference is only in minor, maybe in tens or hundreds or something. So we will try to check your the future filings, whatever you've done. Suppose if you've already done your PAS-3, then we will go and check your details and we'll try to update the value. Or maybe we will check your signed financial statement. So we'll try to update the value to absolute value. If not possible, then you may have to raise a FO ticket. To avoid these kind of issues, so we would request you to provide absolute values while filing AOC4 and XBRL and MGT7. And now I have filed AOC4 XBRL or MGT7 in V2 system, which only updated my paid up capital in company master level. So as we've mentioned, all the V2 forms in MC system only updates company capital at company master, because there's no concept of class-wise master. Now, how do I sync my company master to class-wise master? Say, for example, my capital was initially 5 lakh. So on 31st March 2024, for example, I've increased my capital from 5 lakh to 10 lakh, 5 lakh to 10 lakh, for example. So on 31st March, my capital was 10 lakhs. So because obviously I will go and give my capital value as 10 lakhs while filing AOC4 or MGT7 forms. But I forgot to file PAS-3 form. And this 5 lakh to 10 lakh increase might have happened in two modes. Either you've actually converted you've made your partly paid shares as fully paid up, or you've gone for fresh allotment. So update of class-wise master, it depends on these 2 points. If the paid up capital got updated through annual filing forms due to partly paid up shares have become fully paid up shares. So in this case, there is no concept of filing PAS-3, right? So because PAS-3 is only for return of allotment, it is not for making your partly paid up shares into fully paid up. Then in that case, you have to raise FO ticket with the issue description and absolute values, so that we will go and sync your class-wise master with your company master. So if it is not feasible, then obviously we will ask you to raise online CRF. And now second scenario is if the paid up capital got updated through annual filing forms, Due to fresh allotment of shares, then obviously you have to go and file PAS-3. Even though your capital got updated as 10 lakhs, that will not give the responsibility of filing PAS-3, right? You still have to go and file PAS-3 for allotment because it is a fresh allotment. Just because it got allotted on just end of the financial year and my capital is already updated, I will not go and file PAS-3. It is not as per law. You still have to go and file PAS-3 form for allotment of the shares so that your class size master get updated automatically in this case. There may be a scenario wherein a reduction of capital also, right? So if the redemption happens, if the paid up capital got updated through annual filing forms to redemption of preference shares, even then, suppose initially, the same example, initially my capital was 5 lakh and I've redeemed 1 lakh worth of preference shares. As on 31st March, I've given 4 lakh as my capital. Now, how do I sync this 4 lakhs? Now, company master mein 4 lakh is there, but class-wise master mein 5 lakh is what is there, right? To update your class-wise master, you still have to go and file SH-7 for redemption of preference shares. So the last FAQ. So what should I do if my CRF gets rejected by ROC? So this is also one of the tickets that we are getting nowadays saying that my CRF is rejected. I'm not able to file the form. So please note that there may be multiple reasons why your CRF is getting rejected. So CRF may get rejected if you are not given issue description not clearly. Because you have to, if you have created extra classes, please make sure to mention that description clearly that this is what happened. Your system has allowed and I've created the class or I've given a different duplicate class name. There was a typo error. Please mention that issue description very clearly and also provide the SRN details if possible. So also required attachments are not attached. So we have seen CRF wherein users has given a big paragraph of the issue, but he's not given what is the revised capital structure that he's expecting us to update. Or the attachment of the proof of payment is not provided, or the filing details were not provided. So see, if the CRF is getting rejected, these may be a few reasons. I mean, one of the reasons why your CRF is getting rejected. So please request you to raise a CRF with new CRF with all the above details, especially with respect to whenever you are expecting us to update authorized capital, make sure to attach the proof of payment for both MCA fee and stamp duty. So without which, even if CRF gets approved, we will still go and validate your capital details in the system, right? So we will not be able to execute the CRF if the provided required details are not attached.
Vijaya, just want to add out here, whenever you are it is being rejected, then you have to mention that why it cannot be done technically. It cannot why you cannot do the refiling of the form. That is what you have to explain, because that will only happen because if you'll say that it is a technical issue, maybe the ROC will consider that it is a technical issue. But as we have explained it in the previous slides, we have clearly showed that what are the reasons because of which system is showing you the details, what is being shown. So you have to go through your previous filings, check whether you have provided the correct information out there, and rather than marking it as a technical issue, you should see that what are the previous filings which has been done by you. So it is suggested that otherwise ROC will reject it, stating that if it is a technical issue, then tell the technical team to resolve it. But when we go through the forms which has been filed by you, we come across that it is due to some erroneous things which you have done in previous filings. So request you to be, whenever you are raising CRF, you have to be very sure that it cannot be done through any of the services or the forms which are available on MCA portal. If that is there, then ROC will surely reject it. But if you want a quicker resolution and the approval of CRF, then you have to acknowledge that fact that you have provided something which is incorrect or not proper, or maybe incomplete for that matter. Yeah, Vijay.
Yeah. So quickly we'll see a few do's and don'ts, which we might have discussed all these points in the previous slides, but just to recap. So do's, make sure that class names provided in the forms are same. Like, don't change your class names. Ideally, prospective filings maybe not allowing you to change, but make sure to provide the same class names wherever it is enabled and editable for you, and don't give any duplicate class names. And also the nominal value per share, that is face value per share, please make sure to provide the same value in all 4 types of capitals. Even if you have partly paid up shares, your face value would not get changed, right? Face value would remain same for authorized, issued, and subscribed and paid up. Right now, we have a restriction in the system that it only allows you to enter the face value up to 2 decimals. So this is also one of the, I think we have received one issue wherein users are saying that it was allowed earlier and what should I do? So in that case, we have requested the user to file a CRF form to rectify this information. Right now, in all the forms, it is whether it is PAS plus Part P, SH-7, PAS-3, INC28, SH-11. So per share value is restricted to 2 decimals. And make sure to provide all classes in the form. So this is again discussed. Whenever you are filing SH-7 or PAS-3, so you have to make sure that you have provided the complete revised, name itself says that it revised capital structure. It is not talking about the class or the type that you're increasing. It is the complete revised capital structure that you have to provide. You have to make sure, please check whether all the classes are appearing or not. And same is the case for SH-11 and INC28. Make sure to provide all classes while filing SH-11 and INC28. So even if buyback is happening for one of the class, you have to provide the class information for all the remaining classes. Same is the case with INC28. Your authorized capital is getting increased because of the transfer, because of the amalgamation or merger for only one class, but you still have to give your remaining classes even though there is no update. Same is the case for paid up capital reduction also. You have to, if the capital is getting reduced as per 66.5 only for one of the class, but still you have to give the class for information for all the classes. Just make it as revised number of shares decreased or increased, you can enter 0, but you have to provide the all classes information in all these forms. And next to do is basically make sure to file MGT14 with relevant purpose. We keep on getting tickets saying that user has filed MGT14 with a different purpose and they are trying to refer that SRN while filing PAS-3 and SH-7. So please note that in V3 system, whenever you are referring any of the MGT14 SRN, whether it is in SH-7, PAS-3 or INC27, INC6, wherever, we will go and check that MGT14 purpose also. The purpose also should be matching with the form that currently I am filing. So you cannot refer SRN of MGT14, which is filed for conversion of public into private as while filing PAS-3 or SH-7. The purpose should exactly match. So if that purpose is not matching, then you will end up getting a validation error while filing PAS-3 or SH-7. Then we are getting tickets saying that please change my purpose through backend. So please note that. Please make sure whenever you're filing MGT14, please select the purpose, the relevant purpose clearly and refer only that SRN, because it was not the case like in V2. V2 may used to pick any of the SRN, but it is not possible in V3. The purpose should exactly match with the form you are filing. And make sure to file PAS-3, SH-11, INC28. This again we have seen with the example. Make sure to file the forms in sequential manner to ensure that your capital gets updated properly based on the event dates. Or if you want to file backdated, antedated forms, make sure to give this effect in the subsequent filings. Otherwise, you will not be able to see your capital update properly in the system. Make sure to file SH-7 and PAS-3 before updating paid up capital through annual filing forms. This also. So we have seen just now, we have seen example that whenever redemption is happened, even it happened on the last day. So don't assume, don't think that anyway my capital is already updated through annual filing forms. I will not go and file SH-7 and PAS-3. That is not correct. You still have to go and file SH-7 and PAS-3. Even your capital got updated through annual filing forms, because first of all, it is not as per law. You still have to go and file SH-7 and PAS-3. And secondly, annual filing forms updates only the capital at your company master. Your class-wise master is still not updated. So to update your class-wise master, you have to go and file SH-7 and PAS-3. And refer help kit and FAQs. These last 2 points are common. And do not change the capital structure in PAS-3 while filing the form for debenture allotment. This also we have seen. Even if you forgot something, there was a typo error in the earlier filings, do not change the capital structure in PAS-3. Even if you change, it has no impact. We will not pick that update only because you are filing the form only for debenture allotment. Very, very important. Do not change the authorized capital while filing PAS-3. So you are not supposed to change your authorized capital. Even if you're coming for the first time in V3 system for which you want to create a class, because your company is a migrated company, don't try to add more authorized capital than whatever is there in the system. So right now you will not be able to do it because we placed restrictions, but if you've done it earlier, then you might be facing some prefill issues now. And do not attempt to file PAS-3 without creating the class from SH-7 if the class-wise master is already available. Very, very important. Don't file PAS-3 directly without creating a proper class or without having sufficient authorized capital amount for the relevant type and class for which you want to go for allotment. Do not give different values in field number 4 and when compared with field number 14 of SH-7, because field number 4 is wherein you will enter, right? What is your existing number of shares, what is the addition that you're planning to do. That should be in line with your field number 14, whatever you're going to give in field number 14. Do not create separate class for partly paid up shares. Now, partly paid up shares, as we've mentioned, you can directly reduce your capital after doing auto calculation. You can directly reduce the capital if your shares are partly paid up. No need to create the new class for partly paid up shares. So with this, I think we have completed the presentation. We want to highlight one more important point for all the stakeholders. So if you think that any of these issues might have happened or may occur for you, for your companies in future, because of whatever the past filings that you have done in V3 system, issue may be whatever may be the issue. It could be a, clerical issue, or you've given different classes, you ended up creating new classes in PAS-3 without creating. So whatever may be the issue, if you think that this issue may be there in my company or my filing, so we would request you to create one draft version of the form, PAS-3 or SH-7, so that you can see what is getting pre-filled currently in the system, so that you need not wait till the time. So suppose what is actually happening is we keep on getting tickets saying that tomorrow is my last day, today is my last day, I want to file the form, but it is not resolved. Obviously, please note that all resolving these tickets may take some time, because we have to do the complete analysis of all the forms that you have filed, especially if you have done multiple forms in V3 system. It may take a lot more time for us to analyze, because we have to open each of your form and we have to see the sequence, where did we go wrong, what actually happened. All this as an analysis may take time. So we would request all stakeholders to just create one draft form and see if the prefills are happening properly or not, even though you're not required to file SH-7 and PAS-3 now, just to make sure that if there is any issue, you can raise a ticket right now, so that we can resolve the issue. So that whenever you're planning to file a form, maybe after 2 months or 6 months or 1 year, so you will not have this problem. And unless we go and fix your class-wise master because of this past issues, it will be a blocker whether you're filing today or tomorrow or day after. So we would request you to just create one draft version of the form and see if the prefills are happening properly or not. If there is any issue, you can raise a ticket right now, so that you need not wait till the time you go for any increase or any fresh allotment of the shares. So that's it from our side. Maybe we can now we can take up the questions, ma'am.
Yeah, roughly around 42 questions have been received.
Yes, sir.
And out of that, around 12 during the webinar. See, what I'll try to do is I'll quickly ask at least some 5 questions which you can suitably answer.
Yes, sir.
One question from the stakeholder is if warrants are allotted, share warrants, are we required to file PAS-3?
Seema, are you there? Seema, will you take up this question?
Yes, yes, sir. Sir, since there is no provision as of now in the form PAS-3 to take up with the for the allotment of warrants, there is no placeholder for that, because the type of allotment, it says that equity preference or debentures. So we have parked this question with the policy, and MCA will be looking into this aspect, and will be after getting a reply from the MCA, because it's a policy decision. As of now, form doesn't accommodate that, sir. So this
cannot allot warrants. I mean, you mean to say, right?
Right. They cannot file the PAS-3 for this particular scenario. They cannot go ahead and file PAS-3. So that is why we have parked this question with the MCA, and unless and until we get an appropriate reply from MCA, we will not be in a position to do that.
Vijay, next question. If a company is making rights issue, private placement of preference shares and preferential allotment of debentures on the same day, how many PAS-3s to be filed?
Sorry, come again, sir. Vijay, your screen is
visible. So, sir, as long as your allotment dates are within 30-day period, you can file everything in a single form. There is no restriction. But only the condition is, if you are going for multiple allotments and you want to file a single PAS-3 form, make sure that all your allotments dates are falling within 30-day bracket.
Okay, next question.
If it is on same day, I think we can go ahead and file a single PAS-3. There is no need to file.
Thank you, Vijay.
Vijay, you can stop sharing your screen, please. If you are sharing.
I did.
No, it is. We can view it. It's seen.
Yeah, post filing PAS-3 paid up share capital of the company should be 10 crores 8,26,703. However, master data showing wrong capital. we have filed CRF, whatever the number for correction of the same. The same is also approved. However, paid up share capital has not been updated.
Sir, in that case, we.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Seema, please take it.
Yeah, Seema sir, please go ahead.
Yeah, so sir, for this case, it's a very specific case. We have to have the details because over the call we won't be in a position to do that because we do not know the details that what is required to be done in that particular case. We would request that for individual cases or very specific cases, we would want the details so that we can do it analysis. It over the call, we will not be in a position to reply to that. That what could be the reason that it has not been updated, sir.
Thank you. Next question, sir. While filing out the form for point number 9, particulars of securities allotted for cash, I left the on calls field blank. However, an amount is still appearing in the total section which cannot be edited by us. It is still appears in the table.
So this is a very specific issue. That is what I'm saying, that if these issues are very specific, we have to see whether it is a technical issue or it is because of the data which has been provided earlier, or what could be the reason. Let us have a look into very specific cases. What I would request that ICSI can take up those individual issues. But if they are generic issues, the one gentleman has raised that how can I go ahead with the allotment of the share warrants, those issues, I think it's more of a generic in nature, but specific issue, as I told you, that it cannot be taken over the call. Reason being because we need to analyze that what is the reason why the system is failing that and why he's not been able to edit the information.
Thank you. Next question. We are not getting the option to fill the data of partly paid shares and fully paid shares separately.
Sir, now the system, as Vijay has already briefed it out to you earlier, that there is a possibility for us to provide the information with regard to the partly paid up shares. So it could be a possibility that earlier it was not, up to some time, they were not able to edit the information. Now the system will auto-calculate it, but they can always edit that information. So the PAS-3 is working perfectly all right. What we request is that the stakeholder to do the fresh filing of the form, try to do it through the fresh filing of form. If the situation continues, he can always raise a FAQ ticket and we'll surely look into it, sir.
Thank you so much. The next question. I am trying to prepare form SH-7 for 2 months and encountering the following error. 1. The form is not getting saved. Error 2. If the form gets saved, I am not able to enter the data. Request your support.
Sir, in which field is unable to put in the data, sir?
Field he has not mentioned. He's just trying to say 2 issues that he is facing. That's all.
Sir, save could not be an issue because he's been intermittently. It could be a network issue. That is why he's not been able to do that. As for the data is not getting pre-filled or he's not been able to edit it, or because the issue is not very clear out here. He's saying that he's not able to, there is no data available, or we have to see whether the company has got a share class master, as Vijay has told, that it is not getting pre-filled, or the data which is being provided earlier is incorrect. So it's we would want you to share these details. We'll analyze it and we'll provide a resolution to it, sir. Or tell them to raise a FO ticket. The FO ticket will be taken care of.
Fine, sir. Next question is slightly lengthy one. The company's authorized capital is 585 crores, divided into 135 crores equity capital and 450 crores preference capital. The company proposes to convert 65 crores of unissued preference shares into equity shares and cancellation of 385 crores unissued preference shares. The company intends to reduce the cancelled unissued preference shares. The final outcome of the above transaction would result in final equity capital of 200 crores. Can the company reduce the unissued preference shares of 385 crores by filing form SH-7? Ultimately, it's talking about cancellation of unissued.
Cancellation of cancellation of the cancellation of shares which are issued is it's a functionality which is available in SH-7 form. He should be filing with that purpose, that is conversion and division, and then choosing the purpose as cancellation of one class of shares. That can be done. As far as first and foremost, if you want to cancel it, then he can do it with that. but he want to convert his preference to equity, then in that case, if it is issued, then he should be going ahead with the redemption of the shares, preference shares, and then going ahead with the cancellation of one class of shares to another class. Or secondly, if he has not issued anything at all, then he can directly go and cancel one class of unissued shares to another class. That is purpose 6 of SH-7, sir.
Thank you, Sima sir. One more question. Attaching validation report in PAS-3 is mandatory. However, recently it is not supporting PDF files in the attachment for validation report tab, which is a technical issue.
Sir, we would want you to share this particular SIN number or the FO ticket with us, because as of now, the system has a provision to attach both the valuation report in PDF format. There is no requirement for the stakeholder to provide it in Excel format, or system supports the PDF format. But if he's facing the issue, then we would like to have a look into it in more detailed manner. So we would want
one suggestion for this, sir. So whenever if he's not able to get the PDF option, so whenever he's doing a choose file and new window gets open, right? So we would request the stakeholder to change the file type by choosing that custom file option. There he has to choose the file type as all fields so that he can go and attach the PDF. If right now is restricted, so they can change the file type to all files, and so that they can attach the PDF version if at all a user is facing an issue. If by default, if he's getting Excel option, because PAS-3 form has many attachments which allows you to file in the form of Excel also. So if this attachment also showing Excel option by default, in line with other attachments, then he can change the file type to all files, and then he can attach the PDF formats.
We have already fixed it and it is with you.
Sir, I have one request to you. We will be sharing all these 42 questions that have been raised by the stakeholders, because it may not be possible to cover all the questions now. I think your team can work on that and share the answers with the institute, so that we will place on the institute's portal, please. One last question from our side. If by mistake I attach the list of allottees in PAS-3 by putting wrong number of shares that are allotted, now is there any way out to resolve this?
So, sir, only option is to request jurisdictional ROC mark this SRN as defective and ask for reversal of your master data updates that are happened through PAS-3, and then go for fresh allotment with fresh filing with proper with correct attachment of list of allottees. Because the form is already approved, so we cannot go and correct your attachment now, right? So only the option available is marking this SRN as defective.
Thank you for this rapid questions and rapid answers that have been given by Ms. Vijaya and Seema sir. I take this opportunity to thank Mr. Sasiji, Deputy Director General MCA, Ms. Vijaya, LTI team, and Mr. Seema S. Malhotra, who have answered many questions that have been posed. And special thanks to team LTI for making this wonderful presentation. And of course, I do agree that there are a number of issues that have been raised with the stakeholders. The same will be shared with the LTI team. Please request you to answer those queries so that we can disseminate the information on the institute website for the benefit of all the stakeholders. I also thank Deepa Khatri, Joint Director ICSI, for coordinating with MCA and LTI team to make this event a success. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to all.
Sir, just a small correction out here. My name is Seema S. Malhotra, and I am Miss for that matter. Maybe because of the throat infection, I am not sounding great.
Oh, sorry. Very sorry.
But surely not Mr. for that matter.
Yeah. Because your voice is resembling of a male. That's the reason.
Oh God, it's so bad. Okay.
Yeah. Apologies for that.
No worries, sir. I just wanted to end this because it's been a very heavy session. So just a small this thing.
Yeah. Thank you.
Otherwise,
Yeah. Thank you, Sir Rabi.